So we talked about clavicles, scapulars, and we're going to talk about it again today. Because these two bones just do so much, it's quite amazing what they do. When you see a skeleton like this, it can be very deceiving. Of course, to make these skeletons look okay, they actually bolt these here, and it gives you this feeling that this is all securely here, and it absolutely is not. So here's one I prepared earlier. Here's one where I've unbolted that, just to sort of show you what happens here. This whole section here is just connected there. That's where it is connected to the skeleton. Right there. I think you got a lot of pressure there, wouldn't you? But we've got lots of muscles there holding this in place, which we're going to talk about. But all those muscles have to stretch. So if you put your arms together like that, or if I put my arm like that, the scapula is coming around like that, and the collarbone is coming forward like that. My whole shoulder would be forward. And likewise, if I do that, put my arm behind, that slides almost touching the spine. So that moves around like that. Then if I stick my arm up like that, it does that. So it hinges. Or if I do that, which you wouldn't do very often, it would probably go that way. So this is moving around. So because it's moving around, it's attached to the rest of the body by some very strong muscles. So your stronger muscles are usually attaching that. So you imagine that, get it right. We've already talked about the trapezius, which goes there. We also talked about the back part of the deltoid, which goes on top. So on that ridge there, you've got some strong muscles holding that there. Also under here, you have muscles which wrap around and connect to the ribs there. And that is good for that sort of motion. So who does that sort of motion? Boxers. So if you look at a boxer who's really trained really well, looks like he's got shark fins here. They're called the scleratus muscles. And they come through and they attach to the ribs right there. So today we're going to be looking at the pecs, the pectoral muscles. We're going to be looking at the scleratus. We're going to be looking at revisiting the traps, the trapezius. We're going to be looking at the latissimus dorsi. And we might just make a mention of the abs because we're mostly concentrating on everything around the rib cage here. Because that's what we're going to look at today, and next week we're going to go from the ribs down. So let's have a look at what we need to know, and what to look for and what it looks like. What it looks like is probably the most important thing. If you understand some of the way this functions, it helps. Otherwise, you're just sort of doing life drawing, you sort of think, yeah, okay, I'm just drawing what's in front of me. Oh, there's a lump there, there's a lump there, there's a lump there, what is it? After a while, if you know how this works, you can sort of identify it, and that helps you not put a lump or a bump in the wrong spot. Okay, so let's have a look. Front on to start with. Just having a look at Boney here. So front on, he's got some clavicles, collarbone, he's got a rib cage, kind of like that. I'm going to have to do the back as well because they both connect. You see some of the back from the front. So, if we look behind him here, we have his spine. Then we have these scapulars here. And again, the ribs, they sort of come down like that. far we know that muscles here that make up the neck. Already studied that. Also know that there's muscles out here which form the arms. Which we're just talking about. Last week I talked about the front of the deltoid here, which attaches itself there. Like that. I also mentioned pectoral muscles. Now, they attach themselves right down the centre here, and they go up here. Often when you see them, they sort of look like just one. They look like one big muscle normally, unless somebody is if they're down on the ground and they're pushing up like that. You might see a split of the two of the major muscle up here. So that's where you might see a little bit of a split. You might sort of see the top part of that muscle, sort of an indentation through there, if they are pushing up like that. Or if they are extremely ripped, or extremely skinny. Also, if it's extremely skinny, you start seeing the ribs poking through them. Back here. Remember I said before, kite shape, that trapezius muscle, which tends to actually look a little bit more like this. And we see that here. At the front we see it coming that way. Now we have a group of muscles which come here. It's one main muscle called latissimus dorsi, which people usually just refer to as their lats. Above that, and also again almost looks like it's part of it or the top of it, is what's called teres major and teres minor here. And there's another one in there, but by the time you get there, you're looking at the back of the deltoid now. So I'm mostly interested in what we can see. So you might see here little separations. That's muscle fibre, but also under here, floating around and changing the whole shape of everything, is the scapulars. That's why life drawing's invaluable for this sort of thing. You know, as much as you can know all this, once somebody does this with their arms and you're drawing from the back, it all changes. But we're looking for this sort of thing. Now the reason we mention the lats here and the teres major is because here we see it. In fact, up here sort of forms the armpit. So you see that either side. And for athletes, gives males the V shape. There he comes. Interesting bit. Pretty roughly where those ones come in, they come from here, the scapula, and they connect to the ribs, pretty much where I've got that tape there. So about halfway through the ribs. So now what we're seeing is bones here as well. So you may see some bone there you're going to sort of see this bone here, which makes up this part here. Usually that's seam. Usually you'll see that. Then under that, what we're going to be looking at next week, which will be the abdominal muscles come in under that. We're going to be looking, alright, isn't it? That's what happens when you draw on the side. We're going to be looking at hips and everything else below there next week. This week we're going to be concentrating on just the upper body. I get Julian to put his hands up like this and do things to make his scapulars move all around. But from the front you'll also sort of see the latissimus dorsi muscle. You'll probably see that from the front. If you're at the side, you'll sort of see it hanging down the side as well, as he's moving around like that. You may see some of this serratus muscles here. When you're looking at those, sometimes I sort of look for almost like little V shapes or letter U shapes, where the muscle sort of comes in and then the rig continues. Sometimes you'll see like what looks like a letter U shape. So with all drawings, you're looking for shapes, you're looking for things to make it easier. Okay, time to get our model ready.